A major tech upgrade at Marietta College's planetarium is changing the way Ohioans experience the night sky and their favorite music. Our Abigail Hines has more.
The planetarium at Marietta College is an immersive experience viewed by kids and adults across Ohio, and new technology, upgraded this past April, sharpens every visual in the dome. The USDA, Marietta College, and alumni funded the upgrades. Francie Bolden, the planetarium and physics lab technician, says the upgrades blend old and new technology to expand programming.
With our upgrade, we continue to have a hybridized system. What that means is that we have an optical mechanical star ball that we still use, and that has incredible precision with a beautiful dark night sky. But now we have added those 4K laser projectors that give us a really crisp, high contrast visual across the dome.
For the first time, the planetarium is featuring a production centered around an internationally recognized artist. Starting August 15th, audiences can enjoy a tribute to Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon album, Inside the Dome. Fans internationally have already seen this production, and now it's coming to the Mid-Ohio Valley.
Throughout the entire 42-minute production, the audience is surrounded by 360-degree visuals that are timed in sync with the music. So you're listening to the entire 10-track album all the way through with visuals the entire time.
Bolden hopes to expand the planetarium's programming to cover academic interests across the college.
A lot of students, regardless of their major, enjoy coming to the planetarium for the astronomy presentations, but now we're able to reach into their disciplines. So combining music, art, and science to have completely new experiences in this theater.
The planetarium added additional Pink Floyd shows because of high demand. Those will happen throughout August and September. Reporting from Marietta, I'm Abigail Hines with WTAP News.